It is Sunday in the NFL. The divisional round of the playoffs ends today. We got Bengals versus Bills. We got Cowboys versus 49ers. I have my favorite player prop, spread pick, and a parlay coming your guys' way. Yo, what's going on? My name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, obviously go down below, hit that subscribe button. We do these videos every single week, and we do a daily NBA best bets video. But either way, we'll recap how all of our plays did for this divisional round. We'll do that next week when we get to conference championships. But I don't promote this too often. We do have a chalkboard. It's a free group discussion app. It's on iPhone and Android. If you want to go join, we have over 5,000 members in there, very similar to Discord. We talk about plays, we celebrate winners, hopefully, and we just share our bet slips and have fun, hopefully celebrating some winners. But look, you can join. It's the top link in the description. Go check it out. Also, my last note, we will have a parlay at the end of the video. It will be on Underdog Fantasy, who's always been a loyal sponsor of the channel. If you want to sign up for Underdog Fantasy, it's available in a ton of United States. Just use code COS. Make sure you do that right when you deposit, and you'll get a 100% deposit match right when you sign up. Or you can click the link in the description. It should take you there and automatically put in our code for you. But either way, we'll talk about Underdog Fantasy a little bit later on in the video. Let's go to the first game, Bengals versus Bills. And I got a spread pick here, and then I'll have a player prop lean, which will be in my Underdog Fantasy parlay. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills, minus the 5.5, currently minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, I'd play this at -6 as well. I don't really think the line, I mean, we know these lines when you get far into the season, they can be sharp, and a couple books have 5.5, a couple have 6. I think the Bills at the end of the day win this game, and I think they do it in a convincing manner. Now, I think surface level, you look at people that are going to wake up Sunday morning, they're going to be like, the Bengals, the team that just made it to the Super Bowl last year, you're giving me plus 5.5, plus 6 points, nearly a touchdown? Yeah, I got to hammer it. But you look deeper at this game, and I think this number is very, very big for a reason. Now, the Bengals are going to be down 3 of their starting offensive linemen, and let's be honest, their line already wasn't that good for the offensive linemen, and it wasn't great earlier, and now you got down a lot of your starters. I don't know how great the backups are going to be if they aren't even getting over these starters, which haven't really played great this year. So life's going to be a little bit tough on Joe Burrow. That's going to play into our player prop a little bit later on in this one. But like Buffalo kind of got their bad game out of their system in the wild card round. Not necessarily struggling a whole lot with Miami, but they let them come back into that game. It was a close game down to the stretch. They only ended up winning by 3, and that was against the Skylar Thompson Dolphins. And I think they kind of slept on the Dolphins in that game. They saw no Tua, no Teddy Bridgewater. They're like, Skylar Thompson, yeah, we're not going to sweat that. And the defense didn't show up. But the defense should be motivated here, and I think they play a big factor into this. But we look at the Bills. They've been dominant at home under Josh Allen. The Bills are 4-0 at home in the playoffs, straight up, winning those games by 3, 14, and 30 points. They've been very good. Now, the 3 points, both those games came in the wild card round. Very similar back in 2021. Bills came out in wild card round, won by 3. The next game against the Ravens, they won by 14. So hopefully they do the same thing, just against a different AFC North rival. And at the end of the day, this Bengals defense is still banged up. We know the Bills offense can put up points just like any other team, basically better than any other team in the league. But this Bengals defense missing some corners. Their offensive line, like I talked about on the other side, is banged up. And I think the Bengals will lose in the trenches. And at the end of the day, if you lose in the trenches to the Buffalo Bills, you're going to have a tough time beating them because they can obviously air raid you as well. So I think this Bengals defense, I think both sides, just injuries kind of plagued them in this game. I like the Bills minus the points. I know it's a large number, but it just feels too easy to sit back and take the underdog Bengals, a team that's won 9 straight games. You're giving me +6, +5.5. Yeah, I'd take the Bengals in a heartbeat. Nah, I just don't think it's that easy. Last week, we faded them, and we took the Ravens plus the spread. I said the Ravens had a chance of winning that game, and they actually almost probably should have won outright if it weren't for that Tyler Huntley fumble on the 1-yard line. That was fumble 6, scoop and score. I think the Bengals have trouble here. I think the Bills are going to roll away with this one. Give me the Bills minus 5.5. Now, let's move on to the second game, Cowboys versus 49ers. And while I lean the full game under on this one, I don't really have a lean on the spread. I lean the full game under. I much rather this player prop, and it's a guy by the name of Deebo Samuel. You ever heard of him? He's probably on the cover because I'm taking his over 75.5 rushing plus receiving yards. So you need both of those. It's currently minus 114 on FanDuel. Now, I'd probably play this up to about 81.5. But let's talk about Deebo, though, as he's, you look at this line, it's available on PointsBet, FanDuel, and Underdog Fantasy. And I'm surprised a couple books don't have it live right now, but just wait. By the time kickoff comes, almost all books will have a rushing plus receiving yards line for him. At least I hope so. And if you don't have one, I don't mind either of his lines, whether it's rushing or receiving yards. But last week we saw Deebo, saw him a little bit injured, hobbled into the playoffs, but last week they used him a good amount, 3 rush attempts and 9 targets. And what did he do for him? He returned back 165 rushing plus receiving yards. Now, 74 of them did come on one play, but that's Deebo's specialty. We know he can take a screen pass, take it 70 yards, and cash it over in one play. That's what he's capable of doing it. And look, it's the 49ers must-win game in the playoffs. you're not going to just not give it to a guy like Deebo Samuel. And while we look at last week, he didn't get a ton of carries. He could see more in this game, but we're not counting on a ton of rushing yards from him. He could easily hit this over in just receiving yards alone. He's done that time and time again. But last week we saw Elijah Mitchell, the backup running back for Christian McCaffrey. He ran the ball 9 times for 2 yards. Yeah, that's not really that good. So maybe Deebo sees a couple more touches in the backfield. But at the end of the day, we know the Cowboys are going to game plan for Deebo. It's no surprise. They're going to be like, all right, we got to try to stop him. But it's not as easy to stop a guy like Deebo Samuel as it is maybe like a guy like Justin Jefferson or one of those elite top tier receivers. You can throw two guys on him and say, you know what? Anyone else but him. But Deebo's not necessarily like that. He gets a lot of screen plays, a lot of easy yardage that you can't really double team, and that's how he gets a lot of his yards after the catch. So a lot easier said than done to stop Deebo Samuel. We saw them play last year in the playoffs. We saw the Cowboys and 49ers play. Deebo had 72 rushing yards and 38 receiving, 110 total. I expect it to be more flipped this today. I think we see more receiving yards for him, but at the end of the day, you don't stop Deebo. You can't really stop him too much. He's got too much playmaking ability, too much usage in this offense. The 49ers need him to show up. He should be out there a good amount. We'll take his over 75.5 rushing plus receiving yards. I like both of his lines, but like I said, I'd rather probably lean towards receiving just because you never really know what the rushing, but Deebo should have a big day in this divisional round game. Now, let's talk about Underdog Fantasy, one of the sponsors of the video. Reminder, if you want to sign up for Underdog, use code COS or the link down below. You get 100% deposit match up to $100. Take advantage of it. You can tail me here. We got a 3-leg parlay, 6x your money payout. So if you put $10 on it, I think you're walking away with 60. You put, $100, now you're walking away with 600. Let's talk about these legs though. Hayden Hurst over 3.5 receptions. This was my lean in the Bills-Bengals game as far as a player prop. Now, we've already talked about the Bengals will be down some offensive linemen. That's not great. So we might see Hayden Hurst chip in on some guys, but at the end of the day, he might chip and then kind of just go right into the flat and get some easy receptions. Now, sharper books really like his over. A majority of books are kind of at the -110, -115 for this over. Look, Hayden Hurst has been pretty good. He's been a reliable tight end for Joe Burrow, and if they're Joe Burrow is under duress, he's going to look for guys like a Hayden Hurst. I expect Joe Mixon to kind of hang out in the backfield and try to help blocking. At the end of the day, Hayden Hurst, 4 receptions, I think certainly capable. We know the Bills are going to do a good job trying to take away T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and Hayden Hurst could easily get this. I like his over 3.5 receptions as the first leg. Deebo Samuel, I kind of already talked about it. We don't need to just rewind the video if you want to know why I like Deebo Samuel's over. And then the last one, George Kittle under 4 receptions. So we're targeting over for one tight end and under for the other. Now, you look at Kittle, his receptions line is currently sitting at 3.5 on a lot of books. Now, this is obviously an Underdog Fantasy. You're not going to really get an under 4 receptions line on really any sports book, but Underdog Fantasy has it, and I like this for this reason. Now, the 3.5 line, it's about -135, -150 on the over. So they're expecting him to get 4 receptions, but the probability he gets 5, not too likely. It's like +120, probably +130 on a lot of different books. So I think they're begging you to just go in there and put the -135, -150 juice on his over 3.5. Whereas we got the 4 push potential. So if he hits 4 on the dot, which he's done in a couple of his recent games, then fine. We'll reduce it to a 2-leg parlay, rely on Deebo and Hayden Hurst to get it done. But this kind of plays hand in hand with Deebo. If Deebo's having a big day, you don't expect a big day from Kittle. And Kittle has been gone under this line or pushed this line in 6 of 7's Purdy starts. So he's ended on 4 in a lot of those games. He only had, I think, 2 receptions last week, and he hasn't had a great track record versus Cowboys defense. We saw last year they played, I think only had 1 reception in the playoffs. And if the Cowboys defensive line is creating a lot of pressure, we could see Kittle stay in the block box and help block for Brock Purdy. They need to get Brock Purdy a lot of time. He hangs on to the ball a lot longer than a guy like Tom Brady, who was under duress nonstop last week on Monday Night Football, where Brady throws in like 2.3 seconds, whereas Brock Purdy's like 2.83. That's a big change for guys like Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence coming off the edge. So I think we might see Kittle in the box a little bit more. Didn't mind his under in receiving yards. Obviously, you're playing with fire. Kittle is a great guy. He's a great playmaker. He can obviously go get 1 catch down the seam and take it for 45 yards, but I lean his under 4 receptions. I'll take the under 4, maybe some push potential there, but I don't think, hopefully the regular under 3.5 hits as well. But we're doing those 3 legs, 6 extra payout. I'll take a chance at it. And obviously you can sign up for Underdog using code COS or the link down below. Drop your favorite picks down below in the comments. It's going to be a great day. We're going to have a great Sunday and hopefully have a great divisional round as a whole. I'll see you guys back again in the next one. Peace out.